Hey, welcome back to Jody Hughes Music. And today's lesson we're going to talk about a topic called octave displacement. And as you heard there, I started way up the neck and I moved all the way down. And so basically this is a more intermediate to advanced topic on how to expand on your scales and to make them even more musical, and some just different kind of methods, all right? And by the way, this idea has been used all the way back to Bach. In fact, I kind of recommend you listen to his violin and cello pieces for this idea. So octave displacement, it's not as complicated as it sounds. I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you. So these are they tend to be descending patterns, as you saw there. You saw that I started here, and what did I do? I moved down, right? So let's go ahead and just jump into this. I'm in the key of G, of course. We're kind of mastering the key of G here in our G major scale, so that's going to be the idea. And I'm just going to randomly pick a note here for a very specific reason. I'm going to start you on a D note. Even though it's a G scale, I'm going to start you on a D, because this one's going to be the easiest to see. So if I'm starting on D and I walk down or descend the G major scale, I'm going to go D, C, B, A, G, right? Well, as you saw up here, I didn't do that. I didn't just go. So what did I do? So here's what octave displacement means. We're going to start on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. And that is going to be the D, same D that I played up there. It's just a different octave. So what was the pattern? It was D, and then I went to a C next. But instead of going, what I'm going to do is I'm going to displace or change the register of the C. So what I did, and I jump up to the C an octave higher, hence the word octave displacement. So I'm displacing the C up an octave. So I'm going from the 7th fret of the 3rd string up to the 10th fret of the 1st string. So here goes the pattern. I'm going to go D, C, B, A, and then I'm going to stop on G for now. I'm just going to go. And that's why when I started the video, you heard that. Every note's boom, dun, it's you're jumping, right? So here goes again. We're going to have a D at the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and then the 10th fret of the 1st string, and I'm simply walking C down to B with my ring finger to the 9th fret, and then A of the 1st string, 7th fret. And as far as what I do down here, I'm going to play thumb and then middle finger and then pointer finger. So I'm kind of. And sometimes I even bring my thumb down. And those of you that are just using these fingers, you can, of course, it doesn't matter so much. But for me, from an efficient point of view, I like to start with my middle finger there and then move from there. So what I'm having now, and then maybe my pointer on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. So there's your G. So what this is C, D, C, B, A, G. And you could keep this going. You could go to F sharp, E, back all the way back down to D, and then you would have. Now, that's where you saw me move in the video. I moved down to C, and I started the process all over again. I went C, B, sorry, it's a stretch, C, and then all the way to the 9th fret of the 1st string, which is my B, and now to A, G, F sharp, E, D, C. So you're basically displacing and coming all the way back to where you started. What's next? I have a B, and then A, displaced, G, F sharp, E, D, C, B. All right, now I'm going to go over these more detail, but I just kind of want you to see the big picture so you understand where we're headed with this. So I already broke this one down for you. 9th fret of the 2nd string, 7th fret of the 2nd string, 9th fret of the 3rd string, and then 7th fret of the 3rd string, and you're back to where you started on that D. So to get to C, you simply just move it down to C, 5th fret of the 3rd string, and then you're going to reach all the way up with your pinky and go to the 9th fret of the 1st string, and here are the numbers: 9, 7, 5, that's your G, and now we're going to go to the 7th fret of the 2nd string, 5th fret of the 2nd string, 7th fret of the 3rd string, 5th fret of the 3rd string, and we're back where we started. And once again, I'm using that same right hand. And when I get on that 2nd string, I tend to just alternate these two. No thumb index there. At the same time, my hand sometimes unconsciously does different things. You're going to find out that the more you master the single string, your hand just kind of falls in. It's not a set pattern. All right, now moving on. So to the B at the 4th fret of your 3rd string, and then the A is going to be found at the 7th fret of the 1st string. G is the 5th. F sharp is the 4th. So we have, and then what I did, there's so many different ways to do this, but I went to the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and then the 7th fret of the 3rd string with my pinky, so it's almost like a roll. F sharp, E, D, and then C at the 5th fret, and then B. I'm not going to do the entire thing. Part of this is kind of like your homework assignment, so you truly understand it and you understand. And also, by the way, you know, you're not going to just play in the key of G, so you need to, you know, be able to do this anywhere on the neck and any key eventually. So the idea, though, is you get this. A, G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, and then I resolved it. Okay. Now, at the beginning of the video, I started you on G. So I will show you that one, and then I want you to figure the rest of it out. If you have any questions, of course, you know, ask me. I will be more than happy to help you. Part of the problem with this is, like with any string instrument, there's so many fingerings. You can get overwhelmed really quickly. Just pick one that, you know, falls under your fingers pretty well. So I'm at the 12th fret of the 3rd string, and that's my G. And if I'm descending down the scale, what comes after G, it would be an F sharp. But we're not going there. We're going to go to this F sharp. 16th fret of the 1st string with our pinky again. And then here, E, D, and then C, B, A, G. I'm going to do this slow. 13th fret of the 2nd string, 12th fret of the 2nd string, 14th fret of the 3rd string, and I'm just going to go. And by the way, these things are movable. It's not like you've got to learn the notes of every single key while you're doing this. So like if I want a G, there's my bar chord. What if I wanted, I don't know, a D? So there's my D, same pattern. B. Wow, that sounds bad. Because we're changing keys so much. So I could. Sorry, it sounds so crazy because we're moving through the keys too quickly, but you get the idea. So basically, you know, wherever you're at, you can reach. And another thing I was going to talk about is the rhythm. This rhythm is super important. So not only did Bach use this, but Charlie Parker used this as well. Jazz players. They did a lot of octave displacement in bebop. So it's all about the rhythm, and I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. For me, the musical genre is the thing that changes them so much, is the rhythmic aspect of it. You know, in the beginning, that has a different effect than, you know, swinging, you know. So, you know, the rhythm is a huge part of this. It's not just learning the notes. And that was another thing I was going to tell you. If you haven't already noticed, I'm accenting. You know, I'm adding. So that top note is accent every time. So you really want to bring that out. That's part of the line. And I can't remember exactly. I studied Bach for one summer a ton, and I did a lot of the violin and cello pieces. But part of this was because sometimes the register of the instrument runs out. That's why I think some of it was invented, if you ask me. So, like for instance, like let's say I had a C. I wanted to go down on the banjo from E to D to C. Well, you can see real quickly there's no C because you can't tune down in the middle of the song, right? You can go to C. So what I did is I'm going to go E, D, and then I octave displace up to the C. So if I want to scale, I could go. So displacement a lot of times comes about because the register of the instrument runs out. So we displace it to get back into the scale, if you will. So that's what I call octave displacement. I'm going to run through this really slow from the G. can use this in your improvisations. I use sometimes, I don't run like, you know, I don't run that necessarily. I might just put in like a really quickly, and sometimes on ballads even. And if you go through my own playing, you're going to see I use this a lot. It's one of my little tricks, if you will. But that's octave displacement. I think it's worth learning. And also it's going to free you up with your scales, because, you know, a lot of times people practice their scales going up and down. But really, is that really the way that we see them in actual music? And octave displacement is one of the ways you're going to see this. And I'm going to expand on this in some more videos. We're going to keep drilling these scales to really, where you just know your fingerboard. And one last thing I'll just show you real quick. You could even start like on an A and go up. Just moving up, E, F sharp, G. You know, the idea is this, so you can just move in and out of the fingerboard really easily. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe so you are notified when I put up new videos. And if you'll go to my website, jodyhughesmusic.com, I have an email sign-up list on there, and I will shoot out an email and let you know when these new videos come up, and new products, new blogs, things like that. But you guys take care, and I hope you're having a great time with the banjo, with guitar, and music in general. Take care.